Good afternoon, everyone, or evening, whatever the heck time it is. All right, I am here with the one and only Kristine Bell. I am sick. She is not feeling well, and this is going to be a fun show. So, hey, Kristine, if we're not feeling good and it's been a long month, year, this is a good pair, right? Like it's at least it's you. That's what I thought. I was like, at least it's Kristine. At least I got a softball just handed to me. So, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Well, I'm not super well today, as you just mentioned, but like I thought, you know what? Sometimes in business, especially if you're unknown, you kind of sometimes have to show up, yeah? And this is one of those days, and I thought, well, it's with Mike, what's not to love? So here I am, showing up, and after that, I'm gonna relax a little bit today, I reckon. Just a little bit, even though I got lots on, but sometimes, you just choose what you want to do. But I'm good. I'm glad to be here. Thanks.
Oh, well, thank you. And you're over here trying to do stuff that I asked you to do right before I
I
hit
know,
the
right?
play
Can you
button.
see
So,
me trying to look at it, trying to multitask? Not
yeah.
going so well.
Mm. I've been doing it for 2 weeks. I take a vacation finally, right? And then I come back and it's just nuts for 2 weeks, almost 2 weeks. But hey, here's the silver lining. You can work on yourself till hell freezes over. But when crappy things happen, then you realize, wow, you've actually grown. It's like you only grow and know it when stuff happens. And it's like I said, man, this would have killed me last year, and it bothered me for like I don't know a day today. Like that's progress, right? So again, it really isn't the way you look at it. I mean, it doesn't minimize the effect of bad things, and folks go through serious stuff, man. Trauma, cancer. I'm not minimizing it. I'm just saying there's either work on it or bury your head in the sand. Either way, right? You you can't wish it away. I tried that for what 4 decades, but
No,
what you could do something about
life is gonna keep happening to you. And every moment we think we got it control, we think we know what's gonna happen, and then something shows up that we did not expect. That little curveball, yeah, curveball. We all know it, yeah. Sometimes it's a big one, sometimes it's a small one, but they keep coming, don't they, in life?
Hey, dude, and by the way, like, like a child, did you see my ghost bottle?
No, that's very cool.
And, yeah, I'm like a weatherman. I can't wear green. Good thing I'm
Very,
like
very
redneck
cool.
Charlie Brown.
This is a Danish design, by the way. Do you want to hear the story of this? People are probably thinking we're
Yes.
crazy already, but that's not an underestimate. That's probably true. So this is actually painted by a Danish guy. He was an artist. Before that, he was a lawyer. Apparently, I don't know him, but apparently he was a lawyer, high-end lawyer. Then he had enough, so he bought a farm somewhere in the middle of nowhere in Denmark, and he started doing ceramics and these interesting designs. And then for exercise, he would dig holes in his fields and then fill them again.
Really?
Takes an eccentric, hey?
Yeah, yeah, I'm so cultured now. Y'all see this? This is I feel like this is why I really feel like the gremlin that talks, right? Like being around you guys, I know so much. Like I can probably, how they give you three forks and three spoons and stuff at the fancy places, restaurant. I think I can probably do it. Yeah, outside in. Yeah. All right. So let's see. Is there anybody here? Because nobody watches the first. Oh, I was wrong. All right.
Well,
LinkedIn
I
user.
did put it in. I did put it into your mighty network in case people aren't aware of the House of Business community, the mighty community. It's a great community, and I just tried to put it on there. That's why you saw me multitask before. I see Tracy Lamb is here. Hello, Tracy. How are you? I think she's
Yeah,
here.
LinkedIn
It
user.
seems a little.
I want to know. Tell us who you are, if you don't mind, because I hate that LinkedIn's glitch.
Oh, maybe it's just the two of us.
Oh, brand new hound, Michelle Ramos. Hey, very happy
No
to
one is,
have
but
you
who
here, my
knows? Just
friend.
you.
She was on CJ's show the other day. Or no, she was yeah, she was on CJ's, but then Susanna Dawn's show. That was awesome. And Islam, hey man, this guy's everywhere. He felt like he's been here 100 years because he's
Yeah,
all over the place, man.
he's like 24/7, always on the internet. Yeah.
Man, that I am too, and that's probably why I'm half bat. You know what, crazy. But all right, hey, thank you guys. People will pile in. It's summertime now. The kids are back to school. Blah blah blah. But we're gonna have a good time. Hey, you're gonna get a lot out of this, guys. So hang in there. Let's roll this intro. And yes, I'm running the controls, so it's going to be at least entertaining at minimum. Educational because of Kristine, entertaining because of the redneck monkey gremlin. All right, let's do it. Boom. Uh oh.
We're back.
That wasn't supposed to happen. Oh, well, hey,
Oh,
thanks for
isn't it
stopping
great
by,
to run
folks.
your own show, hey?
No, listen, I guess so. Zoom tried to switch to clown graphics, and now I can't run it. Everything, and now this thing has got all these controls like the USS Enterprise. Oh, it's amazing. It's just absolutely all right. Well, hey, eh, there's your intro. Woo, this is gonna be one. Hey, we're gonna have a lot of bloopers and takes off this. I'm gonna make a lot of short videos. I can already feel it. So what? Hey, it's been a tough year for a lot of people. Busy. Everybody's been grinding. Hey, listen. Hey, network with each other. Ask good questions. Have fun. Make faces. Whatever, guys. This is your show. So honored to have Kristine here with us. But let's go to it. All right. So let's start with my buddy. If you can see it still, can you still see it? All right. Good friend, hound, and amazing guy. Right. It ran an Air Force base. I mean, the dude is awesome. But what's more impressive about J. Scott Heathman is that he is his transition to the business world. I mean, wow. I mean, really. I mean, people in the military, man, they come equipped anyway, soft and hard skills. Um, but he's really doing some great things. He's got his command with courage that brings 25 years of Air Force leadership as a colonel. And now he helps CEOs, frontline leaders, and they focus on cultivating strong organizational cultures and communication. He's also, I don't know if anybody knows this, he's got a book coming up, Command with Courage, right? Draws on that combat instructor pilot, base commander experience, offers insights into real resilience and overcoming adversity in leadership roles. So Scott, I even wrote it down so I didn't mess it up. I got it out. My fever brain's starting to subside, so I appreciate everybody. Everybody's been so nice and understanding with me. But yeah, J. Scott Heathman is a great dude and really appreciate him being a pack all he does. And he's helped me out lately. So and that's no easy task, guys. So scan the QR code for him. I'll be putting it up here in a second because ever since that video did run, yeah, but his website's simple, elevatingothersllc.com, elevatingothersllc.com, or you can find him on LinkedIn at Scott Heathman. So one more person is doing amazing things in the hounds. I got to drop this. All right. We have done a lot. So I want to say thank you, a huge thank you to Jason Wilson, Freedom Fight Expo. They did an oncology event over the last weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And boy, it was so amazing, so impactful. And I'm, me. Hey, we have a great community of just amazing people, visibility, and it's an honor. It's an absolute honor to be able to push up folks and help them out and share their stories, wisdom with other people, and not just folks with cancer. People in the families, caretakers, right, children, all kind of folks are affected by this. Employers. So this is a huge deal. And Rochelle. Prosser is just an amazing friend of mine. And so her company, most people don't know this, it's Orchid Healthcare Solutions. And they really offer cancer education resources and healthcare system navigation to patients, oncology providers, and industry partners. So they are really doing some great stuff. Revolutionary cancer treatment library. It houses all the cancer treatments in one place. And the care team is well versed in cancer care navigation issues. So their goal, this is what I love, it's really they really have high hopes within 10 years, okay, to achieve a 50% increase in overall survivorship in cancer. And it's just amazing what she's able to do and accomplishing just for sheer will is absolutely amazing. And people are flocking to her. I mean, I see it a mile away. So people in healthcare, if anybody has anything who knows more than me, hey, check this out. Share it with friends, share it with other doctors, providers. This has really been life changing, and all we need to do is scale it up, guys. So, and then here we go. Let's see if I can do this without screwing it up. That's you. Hey, how about that? Look at you, Kristine. So before we get going, I mean, might as well, right? You've been a great, amazing, loyal friend. You've helped me out tremendously. You've helped out many, many folks in the pack. Uh, And so now you're starting your own community because what you do can be very expensive, right? Like big corporations do it and, scale ups can do it. But folks like you and me, it's like, oh, wow, let me go grab 12 grand. No, it's not that easy when you're trying to start. So you made this really smart. Tell us about it. Really
Yes,
important.
so maybe I should introduce myself in case someone doesn't know me. Kristine
Go ahead.
Bell, Danish accent. I'm a customer strategist. What does that mean? Well, you know, often the things we love the most have many, many names, and it's usually the same thing we're talking about. But it's really about really getting clear on our ideal customers, really understanding them, because I come from a human-centered, a human-centric, customer-centric, whatever you want to call it, background in terms of really getting to know our customers and the people we want to work with, the people we want to service, the people we want to help, and understanding why we make decisions and the behavioral insights and the consumer psychology. And then with big brands, this is what they use. They use a lot of insights, and then we create strategies that are anchored in customer insights for them in the areas of your value proposition, which is so important. Yeah, we've got to get that right in terms of our business at the overall level, and we've got to understand how that impacts and fits into how we bring it to life in our innovation, our product and services, how we bring it to life in our brand positioning, and the values that we communicate and we live by. And the big thing, the message promise, the overall message promise, which big brands do really, really well, and they repeat it again and again, yeah, and then the customer experience. So that's what I'm all about. And guess what? I have an expensive offer, not as expensive as you said, because I'm in Australia and it's slightly different price tags down here. But what I've learned working with small businesses for 6 to 7 years is that, strategy is something we kind of think we know what it is. Often we don't. We kind of think that, I can just, make up who my customers are. I think I know who they are, so let's go with that. I know what I love doing, so let's go with that. And then boom, let's get that website going. Let's get that logo going. Let's get those blogs going. Let's get it all going, yeah? And then nothing holds it together, and we go, what on earth happened? Why is it not working? And we try to self-diagnose, and it's usually because, like you gave me this analogy, it's so good. You're driving a car, you can tell this, you want the four wheels to spin in the same direction at the same speed, and you want the GPS to, make sure you get where you want to go. And that's what it's all about, having a strategy. So what I've learned, and this is my offer that's coming out, and it's a community, but it's very focused on strategy. This is a place and this is why I do Snappy Chat too, learning and growing together, yeah? How lonely does it not get in business sometimes? And we're sitting there trying to work it out, and we just have questions. We're not quite ready for the big shebang yet in terms of strategy. We're working out, but we want someone to ask questions to. We want someone to give us feedback. We want someone to ping pong with, co-create with, collaborate with, yeah? So that's what this is all about. It's when we are feeling a little bit stuck and lonely, come to this strategy on the go community, because we're going to have live sessions every week, and it's literally going to be created in terms of the content every week based on what your needs are. So we can actually go very much what's happening right now in your business. Let's talk about it. Let's co-create together. And yeah, there will also be a lot of my free stuff in there. So I love teaching. I've learned in the last year that teaching is definitely where my heart is. So now I'm trying to work out how to bring cheap, teachings to you that you can use and exercises without paying a huge amount of money for it. And it's going to be fun. Yeah. And when you get a good group together, guess what? It's not just me and one other person. It's all of us coming together to co-create together, yeah?
Oh, my goodness. So, absolutely.
That was a long-winded but...
No, it's okay. That's what we're here for. This is relaxed. Look, everybody's been sick and getting the kids back to school and blah, blah, blah. This is all right. Again, hey, we've got some folks. Kelly, watch Stanecki. Oh, I bet I get it closer than normal. Oh, Dr. CJ, Constance Leland, thank you. She said smile. She missed the part where we're about to pass out from fever and stuff. So we're smiling on the inside. CJ, you smile at us, we'll smile back. Right? Ain't that the saying? The CJ smiles at the world, and the world smiles back. Something like that. And we have Leanna. All right, thank you. Royce, man, he's there like Islam. I think we called out Michelle. LinkedIn user, who are you? I'm so curious now. I have to know who this is. But great to see you here. Guys, we appreciate you. And listen, you have been a tremendous friend and leader in the Hounds. You've done a lot of things. And, this is what we talk about. CJ's going to go nuts, right? Happy. Because this is what it's about. It's pushing people up. You have brought me value, all kind of things, right? Referrals. I've got clients. I mean, back and forth. So this is not competition. Listen, people need what you do. They have no clue. They have a skill, and they go out there and make that skill. And they're like, I'm going to do website or whatever they do. But they don't understand the fact that there's a larger strategy well put together from these big companies. And other people were doing all the crap you now have to do. Marketing, bookkeeping, blah, blah, blah. And then even in the marketing, it's execution, no strategy. And that's what you have really changed me and so many other hounds that you've worked with. I mean, I ain't going to spill the beans, but I saw somebody's stuff the other day and I was like, man, that smells like Kristine Bell all over the place. Like I knew without even knowing. I was like, you had to have worked with her, you know, and that's the impact it makes because now it's not a struggle working, you know, in the business, you know, and now it's working on it,
Yeah.
and it's really fun. So anyway, KFC can afford it, but now you can too. That's how I think about it. Like big company can afford it. So we'll pop this up periodically. But let's
Thank
get
you.
going because people, you're not fluff, right? You're not a cheap infomercial and all that stuff. You, I have to slow you down. I'm like, you give too much value. Oh my God, you give a lot of value, and even when you can scale it down a little bit, there's still so much value that the listeners here and everyone that goes to your webinar can really tap into. And I have never. You got a webinar. When's your webinar coming up? Let's go ahead and tell them about it.
I actually got one this Friday, Sydney time at 10 a.m. That's your Thursday, your tomorrow at 8 p.m. New York time. And it's on
Good deal.
optimizing your customer strategy, no, your customer experience.
Good. Let me put that up there. See, I don't have the my Spock's not here today. Let's see. There it is. Hey, go check. She's post about it all the time. So LinkedIn,
Yeah,
go to
yeah, it's in
LinkedIn
there.
and
I should go and repost it
follow.
now. So sign up for it. It's gonna be good. It's always good fun, yeah. And like you said, you know, you have helped me a lot with scaling down because I like to give everything away. Can I share a funny story? Well, I think it's quite funny. Probably wasn't at the time, but it was quite funny. So a couple of years ago, well, I used to do in-person stuff before the lockdowns in Sydney. So I used to just go out because I was working with big businesses before the lockdowns on my own, which was great. But, you know, I was a one-man band and whatever. I had a passion. I started networking in Sydney 7 years ago and in person. And I started a meetup group. And because I wanted to work with small businesses, but I had no clue what to offer to them yet. No clue. And I knew they couldn't afford the price. And I knew that they needed me, but probably didn't know it. So I thought, okay, I'll start a meetup group, and I started doing live events at a co-working space who let me do it for free if I brought people in. And lo and behold, whatever I wrote in my meetup back then, people came in. My first event, I had 111 people. Yeah. I'm like, holy cow. And suddenly I'm there
Yeah.
not knowing, you know, I used to present, you know, for agencies and, you know, it's you feel a little detached, you know, because you're on behalf of an agency, but suddenly I'm presenting me, yeah. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is like, wow. And again, I had no clue what I was doing. So I just put out information. But guess what? I asked for feedback saying which parts did you like and stuff. I had some people that they were so nice, yeah, because they knew I was nervous. So they wrote me long essays, literally long essays of all the things they thought I did well,
Oh,
how I could improve it, etc. Yeah. And I'm like, I'm learning so much. And this is what I want to say. When we don't know how to do research, think about doing it all the time, yeah? Because we can always learn as long as you put yourself out there and you ask for feedback and, you know, you
yep.
listen to the right people. You can learn so much, and this is how I created my offer. And then I started to do online, and I don't know technologies, yeah? You know me with technology. We were spending 15 minutes on it just before we got on with me going, hello. And
You did good.
so I started online webinars, yeah? I didn't want anyone to talk to me because I was so scared of the technology. I had 70 pages of information, full on
Wow.
information in 1 hour.
Wow. And that doesn't surprise me. There's so much in here that, you know, but you have really, I mean, you help simplify this. Now, let me get to it. So do me a favor.
Well, it
Give me
doesn't
your
sound
resume.
like simple, does it? I will say I learned the hard way. So sometimes we learn the hard way. Yeah, 70 pages is now down to a very few, and you then help me scale it down more. So thank you.
Oh my gosh. Well, and you again, this is what makes the pack and the communities and all this, and see Dr. CJ level up, got her down here. You know, we can do way more together, and it's way more fun and effective. Like I can go work on weaknesses all year and life, all my life, but you know, I got you. I have Dr. New, I have CJ, I have all these people, right? And I have skills that they need, and vice versa. So this is, you know, again, in this case, absolutely no competition. I love the fact that you're doing this because people need it, right? And anyway, so let's get to you because that's what people came for. Well, give me your background because it's very impressive. So you were back in corporate, and you've done this strategy stuff in corporations. Give us your background of where you started and how this all came about. Like, where's the prequel story, right? Like,
Well, if you
start
want
with
to
it.
go all the way back, yeah. When I was a little kid, I had one of those globes, yeah. With so I wanted to travel basically. So my main point was I wanted to travel, and I wanted to live in different countries. So I was always interested in culture and insights and understanding other people. So lo and behold, did my business degree. Ended up getting to South Africa to do some of an MBA down there, and then I got offered a job in advertising, in strategy, writing creative briefs. And I learned very quickly that the big advertising agencies back then and still now are really good at understanding their customers and doing insights and then
Yeah.
using that to create emotional connection, yeah. So I learned that and how to write creative briefs, which is your strategy, but it's based in insights. And then I moved to London and I worked in advertising again, but it's a toxic world, and I didn't quite fit in there. And this is the early 2000s, so it was full on back then. I'm not going to go into the
Right.
details. And then I moved into brand consultancy and innovation consultancies, and I was young, yeah, and it's subjective. Let's face it, strategy is subjective.
Mhm.
Um, and so it's hard to be heard. I was young, I was blonde, and it was hard to be heard. I didn't have, years of experience. So I learned that if I became an expert in qualitative in-depth research, doing focus groups, in-depth ethnographics, whatever, but really getting to understand humans, and I spoke from that lens in terms of this is what I think is a great strategy, and it's because of these insights, guess what? People would stop and they would listen. So I learned that that was my superpower and that it was really powerful, especially when you're younger. And eventually I moved into qualitative research, but still doing research, doing strategy for all the big clients out there. And 9 years ago, I was in London, then I didn't like London, and I got a job in Sydney, and I moved out here 19 years ago and worked in this industry as well. And then 9 years ago, I left because I burned out. I didn't know I had burned out, by the way. I just left. One day I said, I can't do this. I was offered
Oh
another job. I
wow.
said, I can't do that. I had no clue. I just knew I couldn't do it. So I started freelancing, and lo and behold, I started working for some of my old employers, but at least I learned boundaries. So basically, what I'm saying is, I started a business because I needed to go on a personal development journey that I didn't know was coming. I love that.
Oh,
Thank you, Dr. New.
how many people can relate to that? Holy cow. Yeah, and it's sad. It's sad, but there wasn't a lot of burnout chatter, and especially in localities, right? In corporate, it's not like people get on LinkedIn and they hear all these great ideas, and it's just kind of you do what you always do. So burnout, it's not like hell. People probably even heard the word if they're working 9 to 5 or 9 to 9 corporate,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And I
So
was working in agency side, and I was doing research, and guess what? A lot of the focus groups and the in-depths and the all this stuff, it happens at nighttime, especially back then when everyone was at a job all day, yeah? So
mhm.
I was working long hours. I was often working till 8 or 10 o'clock at night. Several days a week, and then once you'd done that, there was a lot of travel too back then, and then once you'd done that, you also had to write it up and create strategies really fast. I will say often you do it better together. Do strategy on your own is actually quite hard, even for me in my own business. It is good to we need to have that creative abrasion. We need to have those conversations. So if you don't want to work with someone professionally with it, find someone like, friend or someone in business that is good at ping ponging and share. Like you said, let's collaborate because we can grow together further. Yeah.
Yeah, and that I always say it. That's why chiropractors don't crack their own necks, right? Like, I'm not my own financial coach. That's ridiculous, right? We have to have
Yeah.
somebody else typically guide us. Even if you're a fitness person, you get accountability partners, right? These kind of things, go a long way. And like I said, the impact. So you tell us if you can, tell us who you work for and some of your clients as of, because you've done a lot of good work. I mean, I want people to know, like, you've
Yeah.
been
Yeah. So up until the lockdowns in Australia, I worked mostly with big businesses. After I started freelancing, I actually started bringing in some of my old clients. And it was relationship based, yeah. So I ended up working a lot with Unilever before the lockdowns. It's a big company, in case you don't know. They have a lot of brands around the world, including Ben and Jerry. So I got to work with Ben and Jerry and
Oh
working on a
wow.
project for them in all of Australia and New Zealand for the Singaporean, that was out of Singapore, their company up there, which was a lot of fun. They let me eat a lot of ice cream. They said I could have anything I wanted in the store all day. Yeah, I was actually standing outside their
Oh my
stores
God.
for several hours with a sign saying 5 minutes of your time, $5. 10 minutes of your time, $10. The old-fashioned way, and I was recruiting left, right, and center for conversations. Yeah,
Wow.
and it was super. And everyone wanted to chat. And because I was with Ben and Jerry, it was a very legit. Yeah, so I pretty much they pretty much paid for their ice creams. Yeah.
Wow.
But I got a lot of insights. I also worked with the Laser Clinic Australia. I've worked in a lot of different areas, a lot of financial services, a lot of pharmaceuticals, a lot of beauty, a lot of skincare, you name it. I worked in a lot of food, a lot of everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then after the lockdowns, I started my offer for small business owners, and it literally came out of doing free stuff for so long that I had enough insights. More than networking. I was speaking to interviewed more than 300 small business owners informally. And I learned so much about what actually they needed. So I created an offer out of just giving free stuff out and getting people to come to me and give me feedback. And from there, I created an offer literally based on where I saw their needs were. And I launched that 2 years ago. And since then, I've been working with lots of small business owners, one-on-ones mostly, or two-on-ones, a few three-on-ones. And both in Australia, and funny enough, my first clients were actually Americans when I first launched it, that I found on
Right.
LinkedIn, or found me on LinkedIn, quite literally.
Well, yes. I mean, I saw the value immediately. I know who you work with. I was like, holy cow, man. Like, you know, it's like I don't know what the hell it's like. Like Ken Shamrock just wants to teach me how to fight. I'm like, yeah, dude. Like, yeah, it's Ken Shamrock. Like, and that's what I love. It's like CJ. You make this stuff affordable and accessible to people who need it the most, but usually it's exclusive, throughout history to only major corporations or people who are already wealthy trying to scale up. And that's why I wanted you to give that resume, because I want folks to know it's ridiculous what you're gonna spend in time and wasting time and energy and money trying to figure out yourself. Get a guide. And this is my go-to guide. So, again, I promote you because you've been there. I've seen it. In fact, I've had some courses and stuff. You took a look, and I got nervous because I didn't know like you were the strategist, right? And I was nervous. I was like, dude, this lady's a quantitative researcher. Oh my god, if I was full of crap, I was gonna get called out, right? But it was confidence too. I'm like, wow, if she thinks there's value here, maybe I'm the one that's not seeing the value. And that's another side benefit, right? Like I was like, "Well, I think it's valuable. I mean, I know it works, but you come along and go, how did you go to school for this? No, I just figured it out by screwing it up forever." And you
Yeah,
remember that combo. And it was
I
really
remember that
affirming to me.
conversation.
Yeah, because you're
And,
like,
and
did you
I,
go to school for this? I'm like, oh crap, I must suck. And you're like, this is good. I'm like, hey, well, now I feel good.
well, I think this is it's coming back as well to our own belief system, yeah, because we gotta, and when we're on our own, especially if you're a one-man band and you're building a service business, but any business really, and even when you grow a team, if you're at the top, it can get a little bit lonely, yeah, and most of us have some level of self-worth, and definitely if we don't have it, we need to work on that because we're all worthy, which is a mindset thing that, which is why I said my 9 years in business is a personal development journey first and foremost, yeah. I just didn't realize that the business is what is allowing me to grow in myself, and that's not through happy stories every single day. It's through the ups and downs and the like this, and no one tells you that the innovation process is exactly like that, and so it is starting a small business. You are like this all over this show, yeah, and you're just trying to somehow keep standing unless you already have a huge audience coming into what you do, and you have the contacts, and you already have done what you've done for a long time, and the people know that. That's a different matter. You can start a business more fast. So for example, when I first started my business 9 years ago, I was working with people already knew, companies already knew. I had the relationships. I wasn't gonna get in there without it, yeah. So, but when you're on your own doing a new offer, it's a
Yeah,
ride, and you need other people
boy.
with it. You need people on that journey, yeah, to validate you too.
Oh yeah. I mean, because again, especially if you're building from dirt, right? Like dirt, like nothing, absolutely nothing. So many of us are doing that. And that's what, again, you, I, CJ, so many people in the pack, we get that. There's so many impacts and positivity and good things, that could be. It's just like with Rochelle, right? Orchid. Hey, she's a nurse. Now she's an oncology nurse. She was affected personally, with family things and cancer. And that led her to go. And she's making amazing things. We didn't wait for some power to be to do it. She just started doing it. And look, I mean, and that's what, if you have the resources, the knowledge, and the mentors and the guides, amazing things can happen. And that's why I'm so happy about you, because you bring a lot to the table. You're a great community person, leader, and now you have a community that people can afford, and they're out of their minds not to do that, right? In my opinion, because so let's get into it. Get your notepads out because I'm old school. Hey, Mr. Russ Hedge is here. Oh,
I
wow.
know, I saw
Now,
that. Hello, Russ. Love Russ. He's amazing. Such an
look at him.
inspiration, too.
Oh man, impeccable in character. The guy, I mean, he's helped me out. Everybody here has helped me out. I'll be
Well, I
crushing tin
think that's
cans
the
around.
point, yeah. When we build relationships, it's not just know, like, and trust, and maybe they have referrals, and maybe we can even be a client, or we can be their client, whatever. It's about having a support system, often, especially in what I think can be a very lonely ride with challenges that can
Yeah,
be quite confronting, especially in terms of, because usually it hits a limiting belief in us, or a place where we still have old wounds, etc. Yeah. Whether it's financial or whatever it is, it's going to hit us at some point. That is the beauty of innovation and building a business from scratch. Is that little
yeah,
heart emojis? Oh.
yeah. And we think we have a business problem, and oftentimes we have, like you said, confidence or lack of certainty or newness or all kind of issues. So there's a lot going on, and you have been really a forerunner from the beginning. A support system, brilliant mind. I mean, wow. So, all right, get the notepad out, guys. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get into it. What can you explain what a unique value proposition, UVP, right? What it is
Yeah.
and why is it crucial for business growth? I know you said this a million times like an Australian parrot. Go ahead.
I will explain that and why I don't call it a unique selling point, although it's the same thing. I don't call it that specifically. I call it value proposition, because for me that, and again, this is all subjective, take from it what you want. Um, it talks to giving value. And if we are not here to give value to others, what are we doing in business? That should be the first and most important thing we do, is to figure out how to add value to others. And from there, we can create an offer that is relevant in terms of giving value to others. So that's why I call it value proposition. Unique, why does it have to be unique? Because as much as we are individuals and we all add our own flair, our own superpowers to our offer, especially if you're the service offer and you are the intellectual property, you are it, like I am, you are. But it also happens if you're in products as well. You need to remember that most customers are not going to just look at you as a way to solve a problem, as a way to get the value they're seeking. Yeah, they're going to look at what's around. They may look beyond your specific category, beyond your direct competitors. So, desserts is a market. Yeah, there's plenty of different types of desserts. So, ice cream is just one type of category within the desserts market. So, when you think about sweets, you can go, I really want ice cream, in which case we're just looking at the ice cream options within that category. Or you might go, I don't know if I want cake, I want sweets or whatever, yeah? Now the alternatives are different. So if you think from the user, the consumer's perspective, where they're coming from, what do they see as value? So when we say unique, we gotta understand the context that we are operating in. So some categories are pretty empty. There's more demand than there's supply, and that's amazing if you want to make money quick. Most categories have more supply than there is demand. Reiki is one of those right now. Everyone has become a Reiki master, yeah? And I love Reiki, but there's so many Reiki masters around that I would, you got to think about, how do you stand out from all the others then?
Yeah.
That's, you got to think about it from that perspective, because otherwise, if you don't have billions of dollars, millions of dollars for budget, which most small businesses owners don't, like the big businesses, how are you gonna get in front of them? How are you gonna stand out in a way where people go, oh, that's Mike. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Your Mike is great. Yeah. Otherwise, you just fail. You just blend in with all the other LinkedIn coaches. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's got to be
Yeah.
something unique that gets me going, thinking, oh, I noticed Mike, and gosh, I kind of relate to Mike and his offer. Now, of course, I'm talking to you as a personal brand because you are the IP, the service offer, but it also goes the same thinking goes for products as well. Yeah. You got to think about how do we
Yeah.
stand out. It's just how we do it. And so that's the unique part. So with value, there are different levels of values. Now I'm going to get, I'm a teacher at the university here, so I love teaching. And part of the innovation, we have to create, they have to learn how to create a value proposition. There are different ways to do it, but the we help statement, if you look it up, is a great way to get clear on how to write a succinct value proposition, which directly aligns to your customers' motivations and the reasons why they are considering your offer in the first place. Yeah, so there's alignment. Most people don't think I'm 45, therefore I must get Mike, yeah, unless they're looking for something else. So with this in mind, we want to understand the motivations. But value, back to value, functional value. So this is where most people get stuck. They just say, oh yeah, I save you time. Or, I help you clean your surface of your computer, whatever, simple. It's very functional, yeah. The next level is emotional. And most people forget about that, the emotional value. But the reality is humans, this, and Maya Angelou said it so great. We don't remember what people say, we don't remember what they do, but we remember how we feel, yeah. The same goes for products as well. If they can make you feel, which is why they do these massive advertising campaigns, which is all emotional, you start connecting those emotions to that product. This is psychology, one-on-one. Then we can start changing that belief, and they feel that they're getting value. They feel good using it. And sometimes you can sell faster using negative feelings, but if you want to build long-term relationships, you want to make people feel good, yeah. The next level is social as well, because we are social being. We want, sometimes people care about the toilet paper they put in the toilet in case guests come over, yeah. We care about how other people see us, so there can be social value as well. Do I want to hang out with Mike? Does he fit my social value? You do. And then you got social impact at the top.
Hey, real quick, did you freeze or you just take? Nope, you just got
Taking a
still.
break.
Okay.
Sometimes I
So,
just keep up. I just shut up and look at you.
so I told everybody to take notes, and then the chat stopped. So I guess everybody's taking note. I'm serious, guys. Seriously, we got sick brain. She's giving this
Oh, I
away.
bored them to death, eh? With my
No, he didn't bore them to death. They're trying to grow their business. That'd be crazy. Honestly, right? That'd be like CJ boring us to death. I mean, look, there's value. But here's my little hillbilly take, right? I never forget the one thing that stood out was the marketing myopia. As you were talking, it made sense to me. It's like we're a cable company. Well, we've seen what the evolution of the internet and streaming and things evolved over the last, 20, 25 years. So then they had to become a communications company. And that's
yeah.
what I heard you saying when you're like ice cream, but maybe you're a dessert. Maybe if you zoom out, now you could do pies. And here's why. And look, guys, I'm not brilliant. I just learned this from
It's
Kristine.
how we think
Right.
about
So,
innovation, yeah? That's how they do innovation, often.
well,
Because we don't
well,
always do radical innovation. We often do, step up innovations, yeah?
Well, and not only that, you've helped me see things that I just never would have paid attention to and thought that I sucked in marketing or whatever, or nobody saw value because you hit on this too. It's like, well, I sell umbrellas. Umbrellas are in demand. Not as much in the desert as in the tropical area, and so, sunglasses will sell better in different reasons, different ways, different people, right? It could be functional. It could be a status thing, right? Like Harley Davidson and Apple.
Yeah,
And so,
exactly.
you know, again, everybody's going, that's a lot of stuff. But that's the point I'm trying to make. Instead of just jumping into business and trying to figure it out as you go because you have a technical skill, talk to Kristine, right? That's what talk to Kristine, figure it. No, because you do strategy before tactics, and that you can lay it out there for everyone. You got to go to her webinar, guys. It blew my mind. I said, holy cow. Because I had made the comment to a friend, I need to get my website done. And thank goodness this friend said, no, you don't. You need to capitalize on all these people that you already know and talk to them because your website's not going to drive your business. Your relationships are going to drive
Yeah.
that and help you innovate your products and your services.
Yeah.
Bingo.
I agree. I still have an old website I haven't even updated yet. It's not my first priority. It will come at some point. At the moment, I have a link tree that I use more because I can just put everything on there. But the point is exactly what you say. As we are evolving, because we don't. It's like innovation and business. It's like this. That's the journey. Yeah. It's a mix and match and up and down. Yeah. Especially when we're starting out, you got to allow yourself for a little bit of testing on the go, a little bit of actual getting feedback, trying it out. But you don't want to spend so much money on a website and a logo and all those things up front, because it's probably going to be a waste of your time and money, and you're not going to get it right. So keep minimal. Like they say in innovation process, minimal viable product. You have some ideas, you then get some more insights, then you go and test it a bit, and then you get more insights, and you evolve it the human-centered design way. So, which is actually, some company, so they own that, right, that name, but and process. But it's just about getting insights and learning along the way. And then when you get to a certain point and you're ready to go bigger, that's when you really do need to have your strategy right, because people will start to notice now if you change and swap, and one day you're Rome, the next day you're trying to build over here, the next day you are, and I've seen this and you've seen them too, one day they're LinkedIn coach, the next day they are confidence coach, and third day they're now in health, the fourth day they're over here, and you're like, if you already have a lot of followers at that point, you're going to confuse them. And guess what? First impression matters a lot in a society where we have no time, no energy, and are overwhelmed. If they don't like you on first impression, they're unlikely to consider you again in this world. I'm not saying they can't. You're just going to have to work harder at it. So getting strategy somewhat right before we go big, but there is an incubation period before that where you should allow yourself to test and play with it a little bit.
Absolutely. And again, we're not sitting here talking like like at people. We're sitting here going, hey, we've been here. If the bridge was out and we drove off of it, the last daggone thing we want you to do is drive off the bridge. So I'm saying, hey, stop,
I'm still in it. I'm still
but
working through it as well. Yeah. We're not.
me too.
You are too.
But we know. See, the difference is before I was just running around my eyes closed trying to find the exit. Now I have a much better idea of, hey, this comes
The
first.
cars is aligned, yeah. The wheels are aligned and going in the same direction at the same speed, and you got your GPS on now, yeah.
Okay. So what you do though, and I want folks to know this, because what you can do for folks, is consumer strategy blueprint, right? So
Yeah, I call it
how
customer
does that?
strategy blueprint. It's also called brand strategy. It's also called value proposition. It's called many different things. Guess what? It's all part of the same. All these elements hang together. You can't just do one wheel and fix one wheel. Everything needs to go. You got to get all four wheels right. Yeah, and on the same car. So this is what it is. It's all of in together. But I start with the customer focus.
Well, here's why I'll put it. Social media and pretty much the world, in my opinion, hates generalists, right? So, like for example, my wife, she wants to. I crack up at it. She goes to YouTube and she watches, you know, ha- parents and house moms and stuff clean on fast forward. I think it's hilarious. But she just doesn't go in two things. She doesn't just watch anybody. She tries to find somebody on there that relates to her, right? Two kids, homeschool, blah, blah, blah. And that's what I mean. Like, you just can't be like an ice cream shop. You have to be like, is it for, fancy people? Is it for a mass production? And I think about that. And that's what you help people uncover. You've helped me kind of figure that out. So let me ask this. Based on that, how do you help business owners align their vision and their purpose with their customer and figure out what their customer motivation is? So you got two parts. Like, how do you help your clients put them together and figure it out?
So this is the more in one-on-one offer I have at the moment that we're talking about, where I work one-on-one usually, or maybe there's two founders. I've even worked with clients where there were five of them, but that was in Sydney in a workshop face-to-face. But online is one-on-one, is co-creative. So I have a number, having done this for so many years, this type of work, I use frameworks a lot. And I have templates that I use, which are standardized, but guess what? Everything else is completely tailored to the company, the person, and their customers and what they want to achieve. So if people haven't done any research and know nothing about their market, that's where we have to start, have to get some insights that are real. If we have done some of that, what I look at is we usually start with really getting clear on, because most of us start businesses because we've had enough of corporates, or we don't want to do the traditional way. We want to get straight out there and create our own. So we have a passion to be free. We have a passion for creating something with a social impact or some value to people. Yeah.
Right.
So with that in mind, I always start by really understanding, and we talk about, and there are frameworks around this too, in terms of really getting clear on the vision, but also the purpose, the why, and the how, and the what. This is Simon Sinek and a few other things mixed together. Another thing I really go deep into is proof points. People, in a world where there's so many of us, just suddenly announcing that I'm going to be the best personal coach and I have absolutely zero experience, it's going to be a hard sell, yeah? So proof points, people forget about it. Even though we make decisions, most of us emotionally first, we tend to want to, especially if it's expensive, like a car, we're going to try and find proof points that confirms our emotional decision. Psychology, yeah? How we make decisions mostly.
Right.
And so we need to have proof points. So I go into that as well. And then I go into dream clients, and it's actually based on how I find I did this with my husband actually. And so there's no science in this, but I wrote down a list of what I wanted in a man. Yeah. And lo and behold, I looked at the paper that I've written down a couple of years after I met my husband, and he fitted all of them. I just wish I'd put a few more things on there, but never mind. So I do go into clients with their dream client as well. What really are your dream clients? Yeah. Who do you love to work with? Because I'll be damned if I have to work with people I don't enjoy working with. Yeah. Life is too short. I've done that when I worked for others. I don't want to do that. So I'm not saying we should throw our people away, but we should certainly get clear on who we want to, who we enjoy more. Yeah. What we like and why, and really get clear on the specifics of that on different levels. And then once we do that, we really go deep on what you've tried. I've done this with you. I call it's motivational mapping. In Centric, this is a real framework, a model that came out in 1987. It was two Belgian strategist researchers, and Ipsos owns it now. It's called Centric model. So look it up. But it's motivational segmentation, and this is, you go, what? But this is how big brands really do it. So before they look at demographics, which most small businesses do, they go, oh, I work with these, they're this age, they make this much money, they work in this industry, yeah? That's all well and good. We can certainly overlay that. But what you really want to understand within your category and your market is what are the motivations. So for ice cream or desserts, there are different motivations for why you would have it. It could be social, it could be just because you freaking love it and you have an addiction, yeah? Different motivations. We want to understand, especially when you're a small business and you don't have the budgets to talk to many different motivations, you want to understand the main motivation of the people that you are best in a place to align with and serve based on what your product and service is. So that's where the alignment comes in. You look at both of them to make sure it still stays true to you and what you offer and who you are and your superpowers and your vision and all that. But it also aligns completely with the motivations of those people that you can deliver better to in terms of their desired outcomes, in terms of fixing their pain points, in terms of the problems they believe they're solving, in terms of aligning with the beliefs they have. Everyone has beliefs that are directly impacting them, their behaviors. So we want to understand the beliefs that can work as a barrier or a driver. KFC, big barrier was not for the people who, you're from KFC land, so you got your loyals, yeah? They're never going to go off KFC. They're going to eat it. That might be you, yeah? KFC is it, the bomb, yeah? But then you got, because of how healthy we become in society, or at least more awareness of it, they kind of struggled a little bit with that heavy food, yeah? And there were people who would occasionally eat there, but they simply wouldn't eat there so often. And this was some years back that I worked with them on this. And one of the barriers was, and they identified the insight was, that people in Australia generally believed, and it was actually untrue, but they believed that KFC's food was actually cooked and assembled in some big factory, and then it was transported to each of the venues, each of the stores, where it was just kind of heated up and is served to you.
Really? They thought
And
that.
that was stopping people from shopping there, yeah. So we had to
Wow.
overcome that. So that was a barrier. It was a belief that was untrue, and it was a barrier. So we actually had to do some advertising to change that belief, to communicate what the truth was, and it worked.
Wow. Yeah. Again, we don't know this. I'm a guy who did finance, right? Like, that's what I knew was finance, and that's what I know. All of the things that get me the value I have to the client and consumer who needs it. There's a lot
Yeah.
there, and it starts with strategy, not
Can I
jumping
say
in and
something here? I
yes,
just want to
please.
touch the beautiful Dr. Constance, who is a fantastic teacher. She says, I like to look at psychographics with demographics, and then study the culture so you can get in the ins of what motivates your customers. 100% agree. And so when we do the motivation and psychographics, then what we do afterwards, we go in and overlay for each of the segment, for each of the motivation, what we overlaid with the SKUs and demographics. So like Pilates reformer, young women typically are there for body sculpting, so they can look great, have a great body, and get that boyfriend. Um, we overlay that. Typically, that would screw younger women, yeah, typically. So that's how we then overlay versus someone who's a parent who may be more motivated by functional health. Then we overlay that with the demographics. So exactly what Dr. Constance say.
Okay. Here's my question. Do I have time to Google psychographics, or are you just going to tell me? Because I know what demographics are, but maybe not everybody knows what this is.
What do you think it is? Come on,
I'm like,
you
we're going to
know
break
it.
CJ up. I know what psychographics. So I'm trying to be cute because we're both fever brain, but you are going into full lecture mode. That's why CJ's here. She's like, "Oh man, like CJ's never sitting in the student seat today." Like it's fun because you guys take different perspective, but you eat, breathe, and sleep this. This is what I mean. This is what you do. You don't do like you said. You're not a lawn care service and a branding expert, etc. This is what you have done for 25 plus years, and I think it's remarkable that folks like me and other hounds and folks starting off or pivoting can access this. That's why I'm so daggum excited about that community because now they get to piece up. They get to get information that can help them grow their business, be happier doing it, and then when they make more money, invest in the next level, right? One on one. There's coaching. There's different options out there. That's the tenet of the hounds, right? Hey, come in. Well, I can't afford anything. Yeah, well, then when you get a
And
couple,
you're going to be a member too here, yeah? So they're also going to get access to you
oh,
if you show up.
oh yeah, and let's talk about that real quick before because that was really fun to me. Like somebody would come in and I'm just being a monkey in your webinar, but then someone would ask a specific sales question or something that, and you're like, look, great, Mike's here, and I'm like, oh wow, and it was so much fun to do that, and you're in my stuff, and I'm the same way. Somebody would ask me something in a class, and I'm like, oh sweet Jesus, thank goodness Kristine is here, right? Because there's
But that's the
strategy.
beauty of co-creation, yeah, and
It is.
collaboration rather than competing is that, when I do my live webinars, the best part of it, which is why I've now, this is what this offer, the strategy on the go community is based on, is that what people like the most is usually when we stop and we chat, yeah? And people bring up their own challenges, and I might just have a conversation around it when they had a question or a thought or where they were challenged, yeah? And that's why I think it's that's the power of community. And if we can create strategies together, I'd love to help people do that rather than sitting on their own thinking that they should be able to do it. In most cases they don't do it.
It is, and I'm gonna tell everybody, Kate, keep an eye on her LinkedIn and her recommendations. I mean, because I've got it right. Well, I know some you got to go ask because you have helped a lot of people. And if you missed this before, I've seen folks lately that I'm like, man, that's got Kristine all over it. And that's what I mean. Zooming out from the chessboard and looking at the whole thing and saying, hey, it's like an Appalachian Trail, right? A lot of the people in the pack are like from northern states, right? And they're not hikers. So if you're going to set out for the first time to do a dangerous long trip and a hike, you just don't jump out and go, right? You might die. So you have to plan. You have to have a guide that knows what they're talking about. You have to train. You have to do all these things, and it's no different in business. It's just that we don't have access to it, and now we
Yeah.
do. So let me ask you this, because we know we're all about the heart here, right? Uh, Doing well, putting people's best interests first. You mentioned human-centered growth strategies. Can you elaborate on that and why is it effective?
So this is back to how I was trained and what I believe, and it's back to, and bless Dr. Constance, she's just told you what it is. It's values, beliefs, and attitudes. Yeah. I have, whilst I'm not a psychologist, I've always loved learning about people and loved learning, understanding myself, which is probably why personal development has been difficult, but also the most profound thing I've done for myself. Because by understanding ourselves, we understand others better, and we're here to help each other. We live in a world with many of us around. Yeah, we're not supposed to go it completely alone. We can grow further together, and for me, this is where I just. What was the question again? Sorry, I forgot the question. I just went off.
No, you didn't. You were on track. You didn't even know it. Just what does human-centered growth strategies mean?
Yeah,
Like
so
you
back
meant,
with that,
yeah.
it comes back to people, yeah? It comes back to humans. We're humans, yes?
Right.
And yes, AI can potentially support, help us in whatever in many different ways. I'm not disputing that, but I truly believe the more technological this world becomes, the more the craving for human connection will grow, because we are human centered, we are energetic beings, we are here to help each other. So human centered, very, in the world I come from, which is where it originated, it comes from putting you, whatever you're doing in your offer or advertising, you work in advertising business or in your business, you put the people you're servicing first. So everything you do in strategy comes from understanding them first and foremost, their insights into who they are. And it's that simple, yeah? And then what you do then is you then create strategies that are directly helping deliver to their pain points, their needs, their emotional gains that they want, their motivations. So it's supporting them and delivering to them. So there's alignment, yeah? So it's what I do great, what do they need, and let's align those two. So that's where it comes from. The human-centered design, where it's come from, that's actually a process. So that's the process of that, which is design focused, is that you start with what I just said, the human insights, and then you keep evolving your design, your innovation, one step at a time. Yeah. So you learn something, then you evolve it. Rather than radical change, you do small step changes. So you're continuously improving your innovation. So that's the official human-centered design, where it came from, and that's a company and a process that they have cornered, and it's become very, it's a word everyone recognizes at the moment, yeah. What the original word is, customer-centric, which you use for me as well, which is actually the original word. It's just that most people go, "What does that mean?"
Right.
But human-centered, for some reason, people get in and go, "Yeah, that means that it's focused around the human," yeah.
Right.
Exactly the same thing.
It's consumer psychology. And to me, in a lot of cases, especially on like social media, it seems to supersede marketing. I mean, if you don't understand yourself and people, I mean, your marketing efforts are going to be skewed. All these things are not going to be well. If you know, hey, if I do this, yeah, it's like when I rattled the bag of treats and the dog comes running. Like it likes treats. If I started rattling paper clips, it's like, what are you doing? I don't want that, right? It's the basic human stuff really amplifies the strategies and tactics of good branding, marketing, strategy, and position. Period. Even I know that, and I know that way better because of you. So we're gonna go. Man, I could talk to you forever. We're both sick. It's almost 8, so let's do this. First of all, you've got a lot of offers. So we just talked about the community. We'll pull that back up. But do you still have the rediscover your superpower sessions? Like,
Yeah, yeah,
what's your
yeah. I still
upcoming?
do. Yeah, I've got
Tell
I've
us.
got many different offers.
Tell us.
Anything can be customized as well, because we live in a world where we can tailor anything. But just to have some packages, I have, obviously, my community is starting in a couple of weeks' time. I must admit I haven't even started building it yet, so we'll see how we go. But you got to start selling before you build sometimes. That's what they do in innovation too.
Field of
And
Dream.
then I have then a couple of different things which are one-offs. So you can have a one-off session with me for an hour, no strings attached. One-off price, one-off session, and we'll talk about exactly what's going on with you at the moment. I'll give you a lot of advice and insights, and potentially some some exercises that will help you get to where you want, like, the specific things you need. Then I have the rediscover your superpower in business. A lot of people have forgotten what makes them really unique and how we can add value in a way that is unique based on our unique traits that we don't always realize that we are utilizing, and that is actually what makes us stand out in our offer, especially in a service offer. What do you bring to it specifically with your redneck approach versus what do I bring to mine? Yeah, what is it? Because we think differently, we have different strategies and different superpowers and genius zones. And then I have another one, effective messaging that connects. That's a 2.5 hour session, and it's awesome. It's actually really, really great. We go a little bit into the motivations of your customers, understanding specifically your one target market. I was going to say that for you at some point, yeah.
Took an
And
hour, but thank you.
I'm trying to avoid saying it too much, but I gave you one there. Then we look at brand promise and also that framework, which you know as well. There is a sales framework in terms of how you can frame it in terms of pain points, take them through to the transformation. So that's one session as well. That's one off. And then I have my more expensive offer, which is one-on-one, the customer strategy blueprint, which is a real deep dive. And yes, it's both co-creation, but I also do a lot of work in the background on it as well to help. So it's a lot of my strategy on top of everything you know about your business.
Yes, ma'am. And I went a whole hour and did not say target market. So
I know.
I need some love mail, not hate mail. I got enough of that. So give me some love mail for being such a nice man. And I don't want to lose this kind of friend. I mean, good friend, brilliant brain. Yeah, I'll find somebody else to pick on. So, oh my
Well,
gosh.
you
All
heard
right,
some
let
other
me ask.
Australians say it, didn't you? It wasn't just me. You heard another client of, not client, a guest of mine on Snappy
Yeah,
Chat say
yeah.
it too.
Oh, Randy House was in the house that day, and we were all just going nuts. And I could just see, I was like, man, she's gonna kick us both off this show, and she should. Um, but and we were like, no, it's not even Kristine. It's everybody does it. I'm like, I'm gonna have the whole Australian camp just beat me up. I'll better be quiet. All right, so I love the Australians. This is my favorite. Well, you're not even all. You're everything. So you're brilliant. You're a good person. Let me put it this way. Last question. People are taking notes. What's the most, and have some liberty with this, what's the most common mistake you see entrepreneurs make when it comes to brand positioning or just in general? What is the biggest thing they're doing that's costing them so much time, money, and failure? Ultimate failure.
They don't do research. They don't actually get to know their ideal customers. They avoid research for whatever reason, or they have a couple of interviews or a couple of bad surveys, and they just go with, well, this is who I am, this is what I want to do. Full stop. They don't do research, and then lo and behold, they don't do strategy. They think they might do it, but they're actually talking about planning in terms of, I'm going to do this much on, go on LinkedIn and do these types of content. Well, that's planning. You don't have a strategy behind it. What's your overall message that's going to come through in every single content you put out there? Because you can't have too many messages go out there no one is going to remember. You got to bring out the same message again and again. With brand positioning, most people forget to look in the context because they go, well, I'm me, I'm different. Yeah, but you still got competitors from the perspective of your customers, and they're going to possibly be looking at them, especially if you're a little bit expensive and they don't know you that well. So you need to know how you stand out in your market. Where is there an opportunity? You can't, I can't just go in and replicate Mike and suddenly show up and say, I'm going to be a LinkedIn redneck Mike. Yeah. Would you believe me if I suddenly showed up and say, I'm Kristine Bell, I'm a redneck LinkedIn expert?
Mm-mm.
No.
I like to see it.
And
It would be funny. But it
but
won't be
you
funny.
have the advantage over me there, yeah?
Right.
You're going to pull it off better than I am, and you already own that space in this market, yeah? So it's going to be hard for anyone to step on top of that. We got to find somewhere unique, yeah? So we kind of have to look at the context of the market and what's relevant to customers.
Bingo. And let me again, because again, when I see value, I shout from the rooftops. Here's the deal. You help me in my business and also in the community, because communities are just like businesses, organizations. It's an entity, and it has a purpose and a mission and an outcome and all these things. And I call it the chart, but you did it, and you did it fast. It took me 10 years to do it. You were like, boop, like you just laid an egg. It was unbelievable, but it was so just even looking at that. my brain went crazy. I was like, oh my goodness, this is what I can do. This is how I can position. This is what I can innovate and create. Right? Like, well, I create something and then somebody either copies it or rips it off. Well, hey, you're already creating a second wave. And now because of that research, because of that understanding, my brain went crazy. I was like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh. And before
We,
that, before you, I was kind of like, oh, what am I going to do? Well, I know what I'm going to do. I'm doing it. I know what to expect. I know what, threats, strengths, weaknesses. I know where I want to play. And it's been
yeah.
so much nicer. Business is hard enough, but it's much easier when you know who you are, you know how to communicate with your clients, and you understand the strategy, and then you can implement a lot better.
You got a blueprint, yeah? And when we do this
Right.
motivational segmentation, you go, that sounds nice, but actually, this map is so powerful, like you just said, because not only did you get a really good sense of
Yep.
which motivations that you aligned with the most in the market for communities and LinkedIn, etc., we were also able to plot all the competitors on there exactly where they were playing, yeah?
Exactly.
Because suddenly we could see it was like a puzzle that just came together, and suddenly it was a big
Right.
puzzle. This is what I do. We take all the parts pieces apart and then we put it together in a different way, and suddenly you go, wow. And I just wanted to
Wow.
give a shout out. If you saw the beautiful Canva before, that's Claudia from the Hounds who did that. Because guess what, I can't do Canva for the life of me. So she has helped me so much in my business, yeah, and do all my Canva and my beautiful brought to life my brand and everything with the new logo and everything. That's all her work, yeah, and I helped her in return. So that was a trade that we did, and it's been very fruitful for both of us, I think. And so I didn't want to go back to her when I created this. I thought, I'm not going to ask her for more help. Yeah, I'm just going to do it. So I said, have a look at this. Do you think it's okay? And she's like, no, 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 no. And bless her, at 12 o'clock New York time, she sat and redid my Canva for me. And this is the beautiful one she created for me. And then she did some of my copywriting too. She's like, this is not good enough what you're saying. You got to talk to the pain point. Yeah. And this is actually her. The whole thing up front, that's all her copywriting, not mine.
Dude, hey, and that's funny too because she is brilliant. She knows what she doesn't know, and she knows what she does know. And I had the privilege of helping her some. You did too. And then the next thing you know, she's just boom. And that's the point. That's what I mean. The value of communities. You've helped grow the Hounds leaps and bounds. So I have no doubt, this is going to be beneficial in so many ways to folks. And it's not a competition. Like if you go here, you're here to learn how to grow, expand, or even pivot to the next level. That's what people need, right? In the Hounds, I hope the Hounds check this out because a lot of folks would need this or check it out and see if it's valuable. I'll be there,
And
learning
it's going to be
every
fun.
single. Oh
It's
my
going to
gosh,
be
I can't
fun.
wait because the saddest thing in the world is to have all the hope and passion and no clue. All passion and no clue was my my mantra for way too long. And
Yeah.
because of this community, because of folks like you, and I love take a playbook from Claudia. Say, hey, maybe we'll work together. CJ and I do that all the time. Like people do that in the Hounds and elsewhere. And so learn from each other. And the same thing is like I have Canvas skills. Oh my goodness, right? Like, hey, Claudia, she saves the day a lot, man. And
And she
it's
was
a
so kind to me. She's like, I did the most terrible one and I sent it to her. And she's like, yeah, she's like, no, no, this just doesn't work on so many levels. Let me redo it for you.
oh my gosh, yeah, and it. But see, now we're all better for it. Like, and I think this is why it works so well. Nobody needs anybody, but we sure as hell can benefit royally because once we have business, we get more freedom. We have less time constraints, less money constraints, and we can do more things for more people. And that's what this is about for me. It could be different for you, but it is absolutely more than just making money, being business shrewd, Mr. Monopoly kind of bull stuff. This is about, hey, if I can go out there and provide value, like Kristine said, give great service, people will pay for this. They will absolutely, they're looking for it. It's like, it's like they don't have to hard sell me when I'm hungry at the drive-through. I'm here for a reason, right? I'm hungry and I chose to be here. That's what you're doing here. It's like, hey, there's a need, maybe, right? Figure that out first, but lay the blueprint out. You would not jump in your car and go to a destination if you didn't know where the hell you were starting off at or where the address was where you're going. Right? You just wouldn't drive around town screaming Kristine out the window. Don't do it in your business. All right. This is me talking, not Kristine. She's nicer.
Yeah, and I think there's so many of these $20,000 one size fit all kind of things out there, and I'm like, it just doesn't work. Everyone is special. Everyone is unique, and yes, there are principles and templates that works across all markets and categories, but the actual the way we bring it to life in the strategy is different and unique every single time. So stop spending 20,000 on this size fit all because someone says it's popular, and rather just start empowering yourself so you take charge of your strategy. Yeah, because we don't want to outside us. We don't really want to outsource our strategy completely in a small business, because no one is going to be as invested as we are in our own business. Yeah, not even
Bingo.
investors are as invested. Yeah, they're in for the money. So really take charge of your strategy by empowering yourself. And the best way to do that when we don't know what we don't know is to work with others who do know, and also get, find you a group of people where you enjoy brainstorming, co-creating, collaborating, talking ideas, because it's subjective at the best of the day. So we're all a little bit of a guessing game, yeah? A little bit. We've got to be okay with that. But at least we're doing something, we're getting ideas, inspiration, and we're going bigger than we normally are. Sometimes we hold ourselves back in our business, yeah? When in fact, we're not quite there.
Uh-oh. That kangaroo. Skippy, he's chewing on that internet cables again, dadgummit. All right.
Ah,
So,
it was a good speech too. Never mind.
oh, we got most of it. It's just at the end of it, you just look like you were singing, oh, or something like that. It's okay.
We're
Um,
done. That's the
but
beauty. We're
yeah,
done.
hey, you've done a great job. You are sick and you showed up to help folks and to spread this
I
message.
was really sick last night. I sent you a picture, didn't I? Have my doesn't look too bad
Oh,
now, but my skin, oh my goodness.
oh. You were like, I feel bad, and you sent me a picture. I'm like, are you sure you want to do this? But you did it
I know, I'm
anyway.
like,
So
oh my god. I don't normally use a lot of
oh,
makeup. I must admit today the foundation got slapped on, like, because I'm like, oh my god.
me
What
too.
was I blotchy everywhere? It's like everywhere, like.
So all right, we're gonna close out. Everybody, go check out Kristine Bell on LinkedIn, her website, Linktree. I'll
And
throw
come
it
to
all
my
up there.
webinar on this week. It's free.
Yeah, and that's on LinkedIn. So go check it out. Attend, set your calendar. All right, put a little bell or something, alarm. Don't miss this, guys. I showed up 100 times, and I learned something 100 times. She puts a lot of thought into this, and again, not cookie cutter. This is bald people are buying haircuts all over the place. They're being sold hair, being sold stuff they don't need, and it's not the fault. I'm not saying people are doing it predatorily. I'm saying they don't know. So Kristine say, "Hey, now you're gonna know step A, B, C, D, E. That's what people need. Oh, I gotta focus on this and then that. I would have spent months on a website that would have paid me $0. Dadgummit, right? I'm glad I had somebody like you say, hey, you fit here, Mike. Like, don't try to wear a suit and speak proper English. Just go ahead and roll with what you're doing. Brilliant, right? How do I do that? Glad you asked. Laid out the game plan, laid out that roadmap. So thank you for being a wonderful friend. Thank you for being a great community leader, helping out, pushing up, and doing amazing things. And a lot of the hounds may not know you because you wake up at 5 p.m. our time, right? So it
It'll
sucks, but
change
we've
again in a
made it
couple of
through.
months' time. And if you're on the West Coast, it's a lot more aligned with Australian time zones. It's just you got to move it a little bit west.
But but hey, listen, you see the people in the comments, you see the guests, you see Kristine. This is what the pack represents. So any strays out there, hey, welcome home. All right, scan that QR code, go to our group call, and see if it's a good
And
fit.
we got
We
a
love,
networking event coming up in a couple of weeks'
we
time,
do. What day?
which you have
27th?
to be a hounds to be there.
Yeah, and you could be a hound like just hatched, just just a very new pup. Look, stop being stuck. Stop telling yourself you're not good enough and blah blah blah. If you lack the support, resources, information, hey, check us out. Test drive the hounds, man. Look, hopefully you buy clothes, try on clothes before you buy them, right? Hopefully you date before you get married, right? Same thing. Check out the hounds. Check out Kristine's community, right? And again, we talked about this last call because this is so important, man. People have important impact to make in this world, even if you have nothing, right? You have no resources. Stop it, right?
And here's the
Get the
point. Can I say
information.
something?
Please.
Neither of us is Hotel California. There's no lock-in, yeah? Come and check it out.
Right.
If you don't like it, you can leave again. We're not gonna lock you in, yeah?
Yeah. Like I said, it's not a prison. We don't lock the doors from the outside. It's not a cult yet, right? Haha. But hey, seriously. But and I'm not preaching this. I'm saying, look, for 40 years, I wish I'd done this. I used to say yes and no to things until I realized how important it is. And I just encourage people to do this. Understand, know what you're saying yes and no to before making a decision. Because so often, life changing decisions, things that can alter your life for the better, those opportunities go to wayside because we're just not, for whatever reasons, getting the info. So just stop yourself and say, hey, do I have all the info I can get here? And if the answer is yes and you say no, great. But that's what I mean. Check things out. And I'll walk you over to other communities. And so was she. It's a door opener, right? Here's what I do know. Nobody's here to hard sell you stuff you don't need. All right. If you're bald, you don't need a haircut. You might want a wig. We'll find you a wig shop over here. But we're not, that's we're restoring the integrity back into the tools that should be efficient. And that's what I think about it. So love you guys. Appreciate you. Royce. All right, man. Royce he's happy. Dr. New and Tommy, all these folks in here. Michelle, she's still in there. She says she takes notes and she's got a replay. Dadgum straight. So appreciate you all. Next week we're gonna have on if I didn't get this wrong, April Wyatt. All right, we're starting a Hounds. Hey, I'm gonna do this for a short video. Boom. Hey, Hounds Ambassador, HOB Ambassador. We're taking probably 5 to 6 people, probably 3-month rotation, and the value, right? Getting plugged in, people who are ready. We're going to talk about this. I don't have all the answers. But if you're trying to elevate your visibility and trying to really grow your business through the power of the pack, scan that. All right. And as CJ says, even if it's less than 3 months, Mike can veto it. Tell him you know a guy. There you go. But I want people to check us out. Plug into all these amazing people, right? Just like the Healthy Wealthy Hounds. I don't own that, but I sure as hell support it and blow it up because it's special, right? And lots of people need the product, services, support. Same thing here. So Kristine, thank you for your brilliance, for sharing this today. And I'm going to stop rambling, let you go get well again. Me too. And we'll see April Wyatt and Jackie Olmstead next week. That's going to be fun. So
thank you so much for your time and having me on. I appreciate it. And thank you for everyone being here with us and listening to me and still standing. And thank you, Royce, for saying such great insight. I appreciate you.
Hey, we
especially
know what
today because I didn't know what I was coming or going today.
That's okay. We know who you are, what you've done for us, and now we know how brilliant you are, and you can help us build. What the hell else do you need? All right, so everybody, go check out Kristine's stuff. We'll see you next week. Thank you for what you do. Love you guys. Thank y'all for stopping by. Be sure to follow, share, and like, and send me a message if you had fun today. Y'all come back now.